Good evening, everybody. I do believe we are live. Yeah. Okay, so I hope you're all well. I hope you haven't been suffering from the dreaded lurgy. So it's really good to be back here with you. Ha. Just got done watching the video. Perfect timing, VG, because I've just come online here. Ha. So, okay. Good evening, Flower. And good evening, Human. Good evening, Count. I love your timing as always. Yeah, it started. Good evening, Amin. Great to have you with us. Okay, we're going to carry on with the same article that we were doing. Good evening, Laxina. And okay, yes, it's great to have you here, Flower, and you too, Laxina. Okay, hi Heidi yet. And Shalom Renyard, great to have you. Inshallah, I'm doing very well, thank you, Yet. Okay, good evening, Naveen. Good evening, Vladimir. Good evening, Maria Traspaso. Yes, you were with us last week. Good evening, Vitali. And good evening, House, as well. Okay, and good evening, Rick Gill and Paolo. Okay, lots and lots of people coming in. This is really good. Okay, so the last time we had this last paragraph. The danger of everyday products becoming luxury items is disheartening, says Monique Raats, director of the Food Consumer Behaviour and Health Centre at the University of Surrey. Many foods could become out of reach for a lot of people. So, yes. It can be turkey. Okay, good evening, Samrat. Good evening, SH. Great to have you. Good evening, Gabriel. So let me turn this down. Yep, it's definitely time to rock and roll. Oh, I need to put the capitals on as well. So in a second we will see this. This is great. Lots of you here. I enjoy this. Okay, so come on. Yeah, it seems to be lagging a little bit. Here it goes. Moving away from meat. It's not just climate impacts and scarcity that could transform everyday foods into luxury items. People's changing behaviours and tastes will also impact the caste, pecking order, plight, fame, status of these foods. Okay, yes, reach, absolutely. So good evening, Neil, great to have you with us, and AG. So try asking it right at the end, AD, because we're rocking and rolling. Now, good evening, Abira, and Vitali's gone for status. Good evening, Tomek, who goes for status, VG for status, and Count for status as well. Yeah. Okay, and Vladimir goes for status. Vladimir, yes, that looks fine. Okay, so, and SH and Gabriel and Laxina and okay, for status. Maria Traspaso for status, and Manji goes for status as well. We got a landslide here. Valentine goes for status and Abira as well. So let's see. Pecking order. Pecking order is a hierarchy, particularly for birds. The most important one pecks all of the others, and there's like a line or a hierarchy. Plight talks about the fate of something, the plight of the refugees. Thank you, Renyard. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you all. Without you all, I would have never got it. Thank you. Okay, so status for Abira, for Amin, for AJ. Status. But I always say status, VG. Good evening, Manisco. Okay, I always say status. You can say status, but I go for status. Yes. Yay. You'll start seeing it in the vids soon. Okay, so I was saying plight is the sad situation, the bad situation. Fame. Fame is more for people. I guess a film could have fame as well. And then caste, this is to do with levels in society. Yeah, thank you, Amin. Okay, so very definitely status. Yeah, the status. How many plaques have I got? Just the one. No more than one. Okay, so very definitely status. Good evening, Vuslak. Great to have you here. And Dulcinea. Good evening. Okay, we're going to have another one any second now. Number 2. And Vuslak goes for status. Just in time. Well done, mate. Okay, another way to think about luxury food is as something that you shouldn't eat often and lots of, says Raats. Citing, quoting meat as an superior, elite, overriding, prime example. It's a great achievement, I know. It's what it means rather than the plaque itself. Inshallah, I need 1 million for that flower. Okay, so we're starting to get answers through. And we've got prime for Vitali, Count, Valentine. Good evening, Vibes, who goes for prime. And Tomek for prime. A prime example, says VG. Gabriel for prime. Abira for prime. SH for prime. Yeah, this looks like a really good collocation. Good evening, Islam. Ornate means decorated, with lots of decoration. Pearl and peril. Pearl, peril. Pearl, peril. Pearl, peril. Okay, so Vladimir goes for prime, and Manji and Maria Traspaso. Good evening, Oksana. No, they're not made of the real thing. They're just plated. AD goes for prime. Amin goes for prime. Vuslat for prime. Okay, a prime example. A superior example. It doesn't collocate with example. Yeah, you could say this is a superior example. An elite example. Well, this belongs to the elite, the top of the pecking order, the upper echelons. And then overriding, if something's overriding, it's more important than everything else. The overriding reason he goes to work is for money. The overriding thing in this is to get it done quickly. So, and yes, Amin goes for prime, prime for Vuslat, Renyard prime example, flower prime. That would be great live grammar videos. Hello. Okay, everyone went for prime. That's wonderful. Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Islam. Good evening, Tearing. Oh no, it's not. It's Sering. My vision is not what it used to be. Optimus Prime. That's very good, Slipknot. I like that. That's why robbers don't go after YouTubers. Okay, so good evening, Kasim. So very definitely a prime example. And notice this word to cite. To cite is to give an example of something or to quote something that somebody else says. Yeah? To cite, a citation. Okay, so yes. Yeah, definitely a prime example. This is first quality example. Okay, so we're going to go for another one any second now. Here it is. Meat, which is currently part of a regular meal for many people, is likely to become a luxury matter, thing, item, point in the next few decades as more people adopt a plant-based diet to reduce their carbon footprint, she says. Okay, this one's easy, isn't it? Good evening, Massimo. Great to have you. And so we have item from Tomek Valentin, Laxina Vitali Vibes, SH Count VG, Oksana. Good evening, Jerry. Great to have you. Item for Manji, Renyard, Gabriel. Are vegetarian, please. But it's a meal. Many people. Okay. I'm not with it. So, AD for item, Vladimir for item, Abira for item, flower. VG goes for item or matter, Maria for thing, Ahmed for item. Good evening, Louise. And Wuslak goes for luxury item. Aditi, good evening, for a luxury item. Jerry for luxury item. Manisco for item as well. To a comment of yours in one of your videos telling us to be vegetarian, or at least reduce meat. But the vegetarian options should be like in the south of India, where you get have a million different vegetables in a million different ways. Okay. Yeah, thing is just too general. I quite agree with you, Luxana. It would fit. Yeah, it's not wrong, but it's just not a very good word. A luxury matter. Matter, no. A matter is normally a situation or something like that. And the luxury point, no, it's got to be a luxury item. Yeah, exactly, Manji. Luxury item is a good collocation. Might become a luxury. Absolutely, Oksana. It works very nice. A luxury matter. I would probably say a matter of luxury. I know you can use the word matter meaning material, but here it's the idea of matter. It's a matter of money. Yeah, absolutely, Louise. Item is definitely the best by miles. Yeah. Okay, so a luxury item. This collocates very nicely. Okay, matter not. Absolutely, Jerry. But we learn by getting things wrong. Mistakes are learning opportunities. Remember that. They're not bad, they're good, they're positive. Matter is a problem, yes, or an issue or something like that. A matter of fact, exactly, Tomek. So people may also make the move because of the unmitigated, steep, vertical, bold, sheer volume of agricultural land taken up by meat production, which may no longer be viable as the world's population increases. Okay. Should be avoided because cattle cause the greenhouse effect. It certainly should be much, much more expensive, like 10 times the price. Okay, so we got share for Vitaly and Valentine and Laxina and Vibes. Count goes for bold. Trial and error, that's the point, Jerry. Oksana for sheer, Vibes for volume. But volume's there. We need the other word, Vibes. Gabriel for sheer. Ogway for sheer. Good evening, Ogway. Manji, MG. Good evening, MG for sheer. Victor Gabriel, sheer volume. Aditi, sheer. Renyard, sheer volume. Wow. AD and SH for sheer. Sheer volume is a collocation, yes. The sheer amount, the sheer quantity. Very often. Okay, and Abira goes for sheer. Jerry goes for unmitigated. So what is this unmitigated? Or what is to mitigate? So while I'm asking that, steep means at a steep angle. This hill is very steep. The learning curve is very steep. Vertical is even steeper. But verticals, it's talking about physical geography. And bold talks about being brave, Yeah, he's very bold. That was a very bold statement. Okay, and Paolo goes for unmitigated as well. Paul for sheer, Vladimir for sheer, huh, and Makubuya for unmitigated. I think I'm going to call you Freddie. Does unmitigated mean something that is not alleviated? Good. To mitigate, so mitigating circumstances, to lessen. That's good, Jerry. That's good, Tomek. To relieve, I like that, Vitali. To mitigate, to curb. Yes, I think curb works quite nicely, Ogway. To mitigate means to lessen, to mollify. I like that, Manji. And Tejas, reduced. Okay, it needs to be reduced. Mitigated, subdued. I like that, to subdue. Mitigate has the same meaning of to alleviate and assuage. Definitely, Louise. Unmitigated, not making it less harmful because of the unmitigated volume. But it's talking about the volume, the sheer volume, the absolute volume. It bears the meaning of unmitigated. Exactly, Aduma, that's the point. Vuslat for sheer and Amin for sheer. To extenuate, I love that synonym, Vitali. Okay, I'm happy to have you here. Okay, that's really good, VG. We can have another meaning for the word bold here, though. The bold, the brave. Well, you can have bold in Word as well, in big black letters. Good evening, Emin. Great to have you. Okay, but bold, I don't like the bold idea. But wrote separate by accident. It's okay. No problem, vibes. And good evening, Sherwin. Great to have you. And sheer looks like the right answer. Yeah, I didn't actually write sheer in capital letters, but sheer is definitely the answer. Unmitigated disaster. That's a brilliant collocation, Vitali. If something is an unmitigated disaster, it's a total disaster and nothing makes it better. So, woo, you're already at it. Yeah. Okay, the meaning's rather dirty. So, let's see. We've got light for Vitali, VG, SH, Vibes, AD, Vladimir, Count, Aditi, Valentine, Maria, Oksana, Tomek, and Flower as well. Okay, eating meat could become socially unacceptable and viewed in a similar shine, lamp, fire, light to smoking, says Alexander. It could get to a point where eating a burger is not a cool thing to do with your friends. Good evening, Rana. So light for Flower, Abira, Sherwin as well. Yeah, we're fine today. So you're all doing very well, or maybe the questions are easier. But to view something in a light, in a certain way, yeah, in a similar light, yeah, to view it in this light. Light for Freddie and for providing information. A similar light, it sounds right, it's a good one. And light for Renyard and Gabriel. Does the word nasty have a positive or a good meaning? No, nasty is negative. If something's nasty, it's always negative and viewed in a nasty light. Yeah, light for Paul. Nasty's negative, yeah? The meal was really nasty. He's a pretty nasty bloke. Good evening, Roland. In a similar light, and light for Vuslat as well. Okay, to view something in a light, yeah? This article is looking at things from an ecological light, and light for MG as well. Yeah. Nasty is critical, absolutely, Laxina. Good evening, Maria Mikkonen, great to have you. Could you light me up on an example? Yes. Frowned upon means people don't like it. He drove a wedge between me and them, so I tried to mitigate their animosity. Good. Okay, I better get down to it. But getting to the point isn't honest, straightforward, candid, elementary, says Papies. Eating meat is the norm. It becomes part of a national identity. Deviating from that is hard, she says, adding that many vegans and vegetarians struggle with the fact that they have to explain or justify why they don't eat meat. So we got straightforward for Vitali. Yes, and to mitigate, to abate, to reduce. The alternative meat being sold is not so healthy either. And that's a problem, isn't it, Sherwin? Yeah. Okay, straightforward for Valentine. And Count goes for honest. And Vladimir for straightforward. Straightforward for Paulo. Maria Traspasso. Yeah, it's great to have you, Maria Mikkonen. Nasty's only negative. Frown upon. Yeah, so it's something that's socially disliked. It's not considered good. Gabriel goes for straightforward. Straightforward for AD. Straightforward for Renyard. And Sherwin, it seems that this question was pretty straightforward. Straightforward for Amin. Thanks for that, Vitali. And honest for Freddie. Abira goes for straightforward, so does VG and SH, and Aditi goes for candid. So that's a good question. What's this word candid, to be candid? Roland says straightforward, VG for straightforward and honest. Linear forward for part 4. Good evening. Candid has the idea of the idea of spotless, I think. Okay. Aduma for straightforward. So, when will we have the answer to my trivia question? In a second, I'll tell you. So, Manisco for candid. What does candid mean? So, MG goes for straightforward. Candid is naive. I'm not sure candid is naive. It could be in a way. Okay, so Rana goes for straightforward, so does Maria Mikkonen. Good evening, Fernos. Frank, honest. Yes, so, candid, frank, telling you the truth. Well, maybe you're not naive by telling the truth. Let me give you the candid truth. Let me speak to you candidly, frankly. Candid, frank. That's good, Tomek. Clear. Wow, Manji. Thank you so much. That's so generous of you. Wow. Thank you, Manji. All the best to you. You're a star. Okay, so yes, Abira says it's clear as well. Candid camera, hidden camera, which shows the absolute truth. I used to love that program. It's socially disliked by people. Yes, it's frowned upon by people. Thank you, Manji. Thank you for your congratulations. Candid, frank. A candid interview. Talking up front. Yes, candid up front by Amin. So to mitigate is similar to abate, only intransitive. Something abates, something mitigates something. That's very good. So straightforward is the answer. Wow, thank you, Manji. That's really kind of you. A candid photograph. Candid, open, showing the truth. The at the end of dislike. Candid. Straightforward. Yes, I suppose so in some ways. Candid talks about the truth. Straightforward in this sense means easy, obviously easy. Yeah, this task is very straightforward. It's easy to do. Go straightforward, candid, blunt. I like that, blunt. Candid, natural, impartial. That's good, Aditi. Forthright. Yeah, candid. I guess forthright would work as well, vibes. So, Veganism in particular seems to stir out, stir in, stir off, stir down, stir away strong feelings. Wait a second, there needs to be a comma here. Ranging from irritation to passionate anger. To be candid, I forgot to attend the party. Yeah, it's just telling the truth. So, stir up for vibes, for Vitali for AD goes for stir out, Count for stir up, Oksana for stir up, SH for stir out. So, stir out for Valentine, up for Maria Traspasso, stir out for Jerry, Maria stir up, Abira stir up, Roland stir up. Clear up one of your doubts. It wasn't okay to use socially with people in the same sentence. It's okay. What does impartial mean? If you're impartial, you're not biased. You don't favour one side. You have a balanced opinion. Amin goes for stir up. Away is surplus to requirements. Yes, stir away. That's quite good. Stir up for Sherwin. Out for Aduna. Tomek for stir up. Okay, and Freddie, stir away up. I put a comma there, Freddie, because they're two different words. Up for Paul, stir up for Renyard. Rana goes for up, flower for stir up. So with VG Vuslat. Up, also a great movie. Okay, so that's interesting, VG. Some people are clearly not clear about this. Gabriel goes for stir up, Freddie for stir up, and Manisco for out. Okay, to stir up means to make things happen, to incite. Yeah, so his comments stirred up ill feeling. You're stirring, you go round and round and round. But to stir up, he's trying to stir up trouble. Okay, so to stir up, stir out is like walking off from something. I don't think stir out exists. Unprejudiced, impartial, unbiased. Good. That's good, Vitali. Okay, stir up something makes you react strongly. Good evening, Wolen. Okay, prepositions are very difficult. This is a phrasal verb, to stir something up, to make people react, to get people to react to something. Yeah, particularly to stir up trouble, to stir up ill feeling. So stir up is definitely the right answer. Yeah, very definitely. Stir up. I can't stir out. Stir in. I guess stir in the sugar. Stir off. No. Stir down. No. Stir away. I guess to continue doing it. Bring about. To bring about strong feelings. I guess, Oksana, it's not a great synonym, but it would work. To stoke up. I love that. To stoke up. Yeah. To stir them into reacting. That's good vibes. To incite. Good, Roland. I'm done with this. I'm done doing this. You can use both of them. Done with noun. Done plus ing with an adjective, with a verb. Raise strong feelings. It's raise, not rise, but you're correct, Jerry. Stir up. You could stir up enthusiasm, Louise, very definitely. I'm trying to stir up enthusiasm for this. I'm trying to stir up support. You could use it in both ways. Very definitely, Louise. To stir up intense feelings. To whip out. To whip out means to take out of your pocket. He whipped it. To whip up. Aduma. That's the word. He's trying to whip up support. He's trying to stir up support. Whip up. Aduma. Yeah? Okay. Stir is to peep. No, to stir is you put your spoon in your coffee and you stir in the sugar. If you stir it up, it all comes out. To kindle, I love it, a DT. That's a great one as well. Okay, that's a pleasure, Louise. Okay, so we're going to the next one. To stir up, to incentivate, to make stronger, to amplify. Provoke or promote, SH, that's good. I got done with the household chores. I got done cleaning the house. Exactly, VG. That's the idea. Providing more exposure to meat-free options in advertising and shops could help tackle the identity struggle experienced by many vegans and vegetarians, says Papias. It would help make it more equitable, square, decent, this needs a T, straight, equality. Set something in motion. Okay, to set in motion, Louise, means to make it start. If you stir it up, it already exists and you make it bigger. Okay, so we've got Equitable for Vitali, for Oksana, and Count goes for straight, VG for equitable, Valentine for decent, Laxina for straight, Vladimir for equitable, Jerry for equitable, Maria Traspasso for equitable, Sherwin goes for equitable as well, and VG for equitable and straight, and Tomek for equitable, Freddie for equitable, SH for equitable, and Amin as well. Stir up is most prevalent in negative context, but you can use it positively. I'm trying to stir up support. Equitable for Paul and Renyard. Aduma goes for square. And Gabriel for equitable, Aditi for equitable, and Roland as well. Good evening, Lasky, great to have you. Manji for equitable, and Rana for square. So it would make it more fair. It would make it fairer. It would make it more square. I guess square would fit, but there's definitely a better answer than square. Maria Mikkonen for equitable, and Jamil goes for equitable as well. Okay, so equality is a noun, and here we need an adjective, so equality doesn't work. Make it more straight. Well, firstly, I'd probably say straighter. Yeah, more straight. I can understand the use of straight as in fair, but it's not the right answer either. It would make it more decent. Well, yeah, I think maybe in some ways it's not decent to eat meat, but decent is talking about the right moral thing to do. Free healthcare is equitable for everyone. That's a great example, Roland. If square equals boring, usual, that would work. Okay, but no, I won the game squarely without cheating. Yeah, okay, so we can use square to mean fair. Yeah, the equal. Yeah, it would also work with that boring meaning. Yeah, more square, but I want everything. Are we square? Are we equal? But no, the best word here is square, as in fair and square. That's the idea, AD. Yeah, okay. Square is everything is at a 90-degree angle, therefore it's fair, it's in the right way. Equality, is equality a noun? Yes, equality is a noun. Equality is an important idea, and equitable is its adjective form. Equality. Equitable. Equitable means fair. Yeah? I won the game fair and square. That's the idea, Tomek. So, equitable. If something is equitable, it's fair and square for everyone. Yeah? Okay? there's a reasonable share. Yeah, I won the game fair and square. That's the point with square. That's one of the reasons why I put it in. Okay, so if something is square, then even. Knights of the square table. That's very good, Sherwin. I like that. Very Monty Python. And so make it more decent. No, make it more straight. Straight. Yeah. There's a square near here. That's a different one. Equitable comes from, I think it comes from equity. Yeah, but they all come from the same root. Yeah. The equity of this. That's good. Yes, that's it. Equity's a much better word. Okay, the equity of the situation. The situation is equitable. That's good. Thank you, Maria. Thank you all. Equability. Yes, yes, yes. The equability of the situation. Yeah, that's quite good. Okay, homogeneous. So, I better get going. The true cost of our food. In a bid to lower their emissions, countries may also select, choose, opt for, handpick, specify to tax meat in future, as many have done with sugar, says Alexander. This would raise meat prices and make it more of a luxury product. So, opt for Tomek, choose to do for Vibes, opt for AD Candy. For Valentine goes choose, and so does Laxina, Vitali, Oksana, Count, AD's going for choose, and VG to choose to do, Vladimir for choose to do, Vuslat for choose. Exactly, AD, that's the point. Yeah, it may opt for taxation of meat, may opt to tax meat, but definitely not opt for. Okay, so choose for SH, for Aditi, for Manji. Opt for, but there's that too as well. Opt for noun, opt to verb, opt to tax meat, opt for taxation on meat. And handpick, to choose with your fingers. Absolutely. Paolo, to opt for. Opt for taxing meat. I would prefer opt for taxation. I don't like this for with ing very much. Choose, says part 4, and so does Maria Traspasso and Gabriel, and Lasky goes select. Okay. What's to opt for? To opt for is to choose. I'll do opt for in a minute, Louise. Okay, choose for Amin, choose to do for Paul, and Jamil goes for choose. Opt to verb. Opt for noun. Opt for taxation. Jerry goes for choose. Why is sugar being regulated? Because it's bad for health. And therefore if you tax it, it costs more and less people buy it. Opt for, go for, choose. Yes, choose to tax. That's the idea, Renyard. So it's opt to choose. So opt to tax, choose to tax, but opt for plus noun. Okay, so choose for Jerry, Raphael, regulated, exactly, Laxina. Select and choose. Select to tax meat. Let's see, I think may select to tax meat. May select the option of taxing meat, but choose is a much better word. So choose, I'm going to put it there. To hand pick is to pick by hand. And to specify is saying, I want that one. Okay, so choose for Maria. Meat is already becoming a bit of a luxury where I live. That's not a bad thing. Opt for noun, that's the idea. So Aditi, I want to talk about this. Let's see. For is not the dependent preposition with opt. Yeah? I would like to opt for a noun, but opt to do. So when you have the choice, yeah, when it's not a dependent preposition, for plus noun, to plus verb. Okay, this this sandwich is for lunch. This sandwich is to eat. When it's a dependent preposition, then use ing. Okay, so that's the point. Okay, opt to tax. Good evening, Adam. To choose from a variety of possibilities, to opt. Okay, that's the point, Aduma. To opt for noun. To opt to do to verb, and that's the point. Good evening, Isam. To handpick the best offer, the best option. It doesn't fit. You're absolutely right, SH. Next one's going to be next Sunday at 6 p.m. UK time, Zachariah. Meat is being overpriced. Consider taxing meat. Yeah? Consider taxing meat. Yeah? Okay, next Sunday, absolutely. Opt for noun. Opt for taxing. It's much better, Vitali. Opt for noun, opt to verb. You can, okay, a gerund. But notice a gerund is actually a noun. Yeah, what I don't like is opt for plus present participle. Here. Yeah, that's great. That's great to be corrected. That's lovely, VG. Okay, so I guess you live in the south of India, Laksina. 4-2 is redundant. Absolutely, you can't use it. I don't think a dependent preposition is so it depends on. To depend on. If you use depend, you really need to use an on. Okay, it's the preposition that goes with a word. You need to learn dependent prepositions, AD. When you learn a word, you should check if it has a dependent preposition, a preposition that has to go with it. Seldom do people eat meat. Yes, inshallah, VG. Okay, okay, but this is what I do, Louise. Okay, so, you've seen both being used. Yes, you can, but Vitali, but students end up making a lot of mistakes. Yeah, and I like to use the rule: if for is the dependent preposition, then plus ing. Opt to do. Opt for taxing. Opt to tax. It to me sounds much better. Here, everyone. Ah, that's what I understand. Okay, good evening, Khadija. So, choose to tax, very definitely. Huh. Okay, yes. Collocation. A dependent preposition is like an essential collocation that you've got to use. So watch all of my videos. Huh. Not in India, Laksina. Too expensive for your standards. I can understand it, Laksina. Huh. Okay. It's just I saw the name Laksina and it really looks like the name Laxman, the brother of Rama. So, let's try it. Farming animals is responsible for 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and the production of red meat accounts for 41% of those emissions. Global beef production produces emissions roughly equal to those of India, and requires 20 times more land per palatable, succulent, chewable, edible gram of protein than protein-rich crops such as beans. Okay, so edible for Vitali. Yeah. Okay, there's I have got a good essay on it, a good video on essay writing. Edible for VG, edible for SH. Yeah, native speakers speak wrongly the whole time, even me. So, edible for Oksana for count, and edible for Valentine for AD, and vibes. Yeah, everyone makes mistakes. We're all fallible. Edible for Sherwin, edible for Vladimir and Gabriel and Roland and Manji. This is a landslide. Edible for Maria Mikkonen and Laxina, and edible for Jerry, and edible for Vuslat. Huh. Study every day. Yeah? Watch 2 of my videos every day. You've got 2 new ones every day, Khadija. Try writing, try memorizing vocabulary. There are a million things you can do. Just spend an hour a day, every day at it, doing something, and that will improve it, Khadija. So, edible for Maria Traspasso. Succulent isn't right at all. For succulent gram. Well, it doesn't. We don't know if it's succulent or not. Succulent is juicy and tastes really good, and it might taste awful. Yeah, succulence talks about how food tastes. Edible for Renyard, and edible for Aditi. Yeah, okay. Opt for. I would agree, Vitaly. It's possible, but I would like to push people in a way to make it right. Edible means food. Edible means possible to eat. Yeah? So some things don't taste very nice, but they are edible. If something's palatable, it has a reasonable taste. Yeah? It's not disgusting. So the food in the cafeteria is palatable. It's not succulent, but you can eat it. Yeah? It doesn't taste terrible. Palatable. So this is to do with your palate. Yeah, if you call something palatable, it says it tastes okay. You're not saying it tastes fantastic, but it doesn't taste disgusting. Yeah? Spend a lifetime doing what you love. That's a good a good axiom, I'm going to call it, Maria Mikkonen. Succulent and juicy are similar, absolutely. That's fine, Ayad. So, if something's palatable, you can eat it. If it's succulent, it's delicious. If it's chewable, you're able to chew it. Yeah? Able to chew, absolutely. Succulent plants. I love succulents. That's very good. They're full of water. The succulent plants hold water inside the leaves. And Roland goes with it as well. Okay, so I think I probably ought to move to the next one. And the definition too. And if there are any yeah, Vitaly, you do what you enjoy. Yeah, that's up to you. I think it's a very thing. Chewable medicine. You can chew it. Okay, so chewable sweets. Yeah, you don't suck them, you chew them. And rehearse them every week or so. That's a good one, SH. So, according to the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization, there's a worrying segregation, isolation, divorce, gulf, disconnect between the retail price of food and the true cost of its production in many countries. Yeah, the cost of its production, the real cost, and the price is very different. Soft boiled sweets are chewable. So Vitaly goes for gulf, and Laxina goes for disconnect, and gulf for Vladimir, and segregation for part 4, and disconnect for Nick Alvaro. Yeah, enjoy it, absolutely. Gulf for Aditi, disconnect for Tomek. Eatable also exists. Yes, it does. Edible, eatable. A gulf for AD, a gulf for Maria Traspasso. Count goes for disconnect. Oksana for disconnect. No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's up to you. Yeah? Okay, this one, disconnect, and I'm not sure what gulf means for Sherwin. Isolation for flower, segundo for segregation, and Roland for disconnect. By the way, spot the spelling mistake in the text. Here, what's gulf in this case? So Arunas goes for gulf, and Ahmed for disconnect, Paul for a divorce, Manji for gulf, Amin for segregation, Persian gulf, for example, Renyard, Maria Mikkonen for disconnect, Hassan for disconnect, the Mexican gulf. This is quite interesting. So I'm actually okay, gulf. I'm actually looking at these, and I think there are probably two possible answers, although the original one is not the one that many of you expect. Although some of you have given it. Great to have you, Mohammed Omar. Thank you, Nick. Yes, segregation, R-E. Segregation. So I just failed my spelling test. Okay, so a gulf is a big difference between two things. There's a gulf between the positions of the warring factions. Yeah, there's a gulf between these two things. But I'm going to tell you, gulf is acceptable, but it's not the answer they used. Gabriel goes for disconnection, difference. So, thank you, Mohammed. Segregation of socially disadvantaged students. Thank you, Manji. Yes, I got it right. Something stagnated. There's a gulf between them. There is a gulf between the lifestyles of the very rich and the very poor. Okay, good evening, Sono. And segregation, like internment, incarceration, separating. Suzette, good evening. Disconnect for Suzette. And Tomek goes for gulf and gap, gulf and chasm. Okay, so I'm going to accept the answer of gulf, but it's not the right answer, as I said. Valentine goes for divorce. There's a worrying divorce. No. Let's see, to become divorced from, to separate from. His mind is becoming divorced from reality. Yep, a disconnect. Yes, VG. And that's the point. Okay, so Renyard for disconnect as well. Gulf whole chasm. Good evening, Julia Maldini. And gulf emphasizes a big difference between two things. Yes, that's the point, Louise. And Gabriel is for divorce. Disconnect implies there existed a relationship between the variables at some point. Yes, and there did in the past was a relationship between the cost of production and the cost to buy. But now there are so many subsidies for farmers and protectionism and taxes and different things that the right answer is a disconnect. But to all of you who said gulf, I'm going to accept that as well. To garble, meaning is sifting, garble. Okay, to garble means to speak quickly so that nobody understands. An abyss, that's a good synonym. Yeah, Vitali. Yeah, but here they're saying a disconnect. There is no connection. They're not joined. Would gladly divorce their reality right now. I like that, Oksana. To disconnect, a disconnect. It's the same. It's the same, VG. There's no stress movement in this one. A disconnect, to disconnect. Then disconnect, absolutely, Lasky. Yes, you were right. Yeah, they're pronounced in a similar way, thanks. So, Candy Trace. So I've got AD Candy and Candy Trace. And disconnect is the right answer. Okay, so that was very good indeed. I like that one. It was a difficult one. I guess my use of the word gulf there probably didn't help very much. So, as a consequence, food produced at great environmental cost in the form of greenhouse gas emissions, water pollution, air pollution, and home, denizen, haunt, turf, hangout, habitat destruction can appear to be cheaper than more sustainably produced alternatives. The UN body wrote in a report on agricultural sustainability. Yes, Gabriel, disconnect can be a noun. A disconnect. There's a disconnect between these two things. So let's see. Valentine and Julia and Vitali go for our habitat. A disconnection. There's a disconnection. I think a disconnect's a better word. I don't like a disconnection. I think they are disconnected. Yeah. Okay, so habitat. There's a disconnection between the two. It would work. And habitat for Oksana, Manji, Maria Traspasso, Laxina, habitat. Gulf makes more sense in the text. It's okay, but the original one was actually a disconnect. Words change sounds depending on their meanings. Yes. Yeah. To produce, for example. Okay, so Renyard for habitat, Aditi for habitat, habitat for Paul Maria Mikkonen, habitat destruction for Roland, AD for habitat, Jerry goes for home. Okay, I've got some really good words. What is a denizen? What is a haunt? And what is turf? Yeah, these three words are really quite interesting. Clearly you've all got this word habitat. Okay, and habitat for Suzette and habitat destruction for VG. Turf is your unique answer. Denizen are people, if I recall. Turf for Vladimir. Segundo goes for habitat, and so does Aduma. Okay, so let's start with turf. Firstly, turf is grass. Yeah, you can actually get grass rolled up in strips and you can plant it, and that is turf. But turf is grass. But very often, this is my home turf. This is where I was brought up. This is my turf. This is my area. So they often use turf to mean an area that somebody uses. So this turf belongs to an opposing gang. Gurinda, good evening. Turf war, absolutely. In the cities, the gangs fight a turf war about the different things. It can be artificial, Nick, but it can also be real. A denizen is a frequenter of some place. Exactly, Oksana. A denizen is the person who naturally lives in a place. Yeah, is not somebody from outside. Okay, so these spiders are denizens of the forest. Okay, turf is grassland. Denizen, resident. Good, Vitali. Okay, it has other meanings. Gabriel says habitat. A lion's den. Yeah, that's his turf. Yeah. A haunt. What about a haunt? Yeah. A roof of turf. Yeah. You can definitely have turf roofs. They're very good at insulating. Wow, thank you, Amin. That's really kind of you. I really appreciate that. And thanks to you, Manji, as well for your donation earlier. Okay, thanks, Amin. That's great of you. A roof of turf, very definitely a turf roof, I like it. A haunted house, but we can also use this word, a haunt, to say a place where you often go. So this bar is one of his haunts. It's one of the places where he traditionally goes. Okay, so a haunt, a place where somebody often goes. Whoops. That was not very clever what I've just done. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so disconnect. Yes, I guess it could. I'm sorry about that. I just messed up. Okay, I think I got it back right. So, habitat for Vuslat. Yeah, the comments are very useful. The event still haunts me. My old haunts, that's the idea, Laxina. A denizen's a synonym of inhabitant. It's a posh word for an inhabitant, sh. So the denizens of the forest, or the denizens of this city, are habitat destruction. It's absolutely right. So I'm going to write habitat here. Okay, the habitat is definitely the thing. Home doesn't work. Denizen. Well, destruction of denizens. I think it's destruction of the individual inhabitants. A haunt is a place where you traditionally go. A ghost haunts a place, but a person has his different haunts. Yeah, the place that they traditionally go. Turf, an area of land. Yeah. A turf war. I don't know who it was who said that. A war about the areas of land within a city. And a hangout, well, it's just a place to hang out. Yeah. Oh, it's a pleasure, Manji. It's a pleasure having you. Stomping ground. I love it, Vitali. Thank you. As a good one for a haunt. Yeah, this is one of his stomping grounds. It's one of the places he traditionally goes. Yeah, home turf. Yeah, once I get back to my home turf, I'm in the right place. Yeah, it's a very nice one, Vitali. To traditionally do something is what people used to do. A turf mushroom. I guess you can find mushrooms in turf. Okay, so when we eat a steak, this is you, Vitali. When Vitali eats a steak, we are not paying for the environmental ignominy, degeneration, corruption, degradation, degeneracy caused by the meat industry, says Alexander. We're not valuing those outcomes and paying for them when we consume meat. Turf, so Jamil, the kind in strips rolled up, removed and then relaid. Lion's den, a denizen, the person who naturally lives in a place. Spiders as denizens of the forest. Thank you very much, Jamil. Okay, so we've got answers here. Okay, it's you with the turf war, Tomek. It's a really good example. Thank you. So, degradation for Vitali, for Laxina, for Sherwin. I'm in my home turf right now. Absolutely. A haunt, a place where someone often goes, a place someone frequents. That's a good example of the stress change. To frequent, but a frequent goer. Thank you, Jamil. Okay, degradation for Sherwin. Degradation for Count, for Vladimir. Yes, you can definitely, VG. It's their haunt. It's a pleasure and never a chore. That's a wonderful thing. So, isn't a turf mushroom a mushroom, guys? A turf? No. No, I don't think it is. So, degradation for SH and Gabriel. Thank you, AS. And degradation for Vibes, Jerry. Aduna goes for corruption. Oksana for degradation. Julia Maldini for degradation. And Lasky for degeneration. And Renyard for degradation. I've been reading some of these degradations for degenerations. Yeah, so degradation for most people. Environmental degradation. Maria Traspasso degradation. Aditi degradation. Hassan degradation. Manji. Vuslat. Manji for degradation. Vuslat for degeneration. Maria Mikkonen degradation. Do you also use bar in the UK? You can, but a bar, yes, you can, but normally the bar is the place where you stand, where they serve the drinks. And flour for degeneration. Julie there for degradation. No, yes, degradation. Amin for degeneration. Jamil, degradation or corruption. Adunas, degeneration. I've seen a turf roof, believe it or not, Maria Mikkonen. I have a turf roof here at home. Yeah, they're particularly common in the Vikings used to have turf. Truffle, that's the word I was looking for, Gabriel. Thank you. Okay, so Suzette for degradation. Environmental degradation. Alexta. Truffle is the most expensive mushroom. Turf also refers to racing. Yeah, absolutely. Surf and turf. So you didn't have any surf with your turf, Vitali. Okay, so let's see. Ignominy. What does this mean to start with? Okay, we've got lots of people for either degeneration or degradation. Degeneracy, this is moral degeneracy. This is morally corrupt. Corruption. Corruption's talking about behaving in a corrupt way. So it's definitely between degradation and degeneration. In Iceland or faraway island where fishermen used to live, absolutely. Degradation has the result of mindless exploitation. That's good, SH. Okay. No, they're not typical in the UK at all. But notice as well I'm in Spain and they're even less common here. Environmental degradation, that's the collocation. Mafia showdowns, I think The Godfather. We can also say degradation. Shame. Ignominy, dishonour. Good evening, George Washington. Yes, dishonourable. The ignominy of making a spelling mistake earlier. That's okay. Well, we're just about up now, unfortunately, George. I think this is probably going to be the last one. So let's see. Environmental degradation is the answer. You are degrading the environment. If something degenerates, it gets worse normally on its own. Whereas degradation, as SH said, has the idea of people doing something bad to it, yeah, of hurting it, yeah, of doing something negative to it. Yeah, in the UK there's something very special, very unusual. Well, So, good evening, Zilla. Nice to have you here. Hi, Zilla. Great to have you. Okay, so, yes, Candy, you wanted to ask a question, and it's now time for the end. So, Candy, would you ask me the question you were going to ask? AD Candy, if you're still here, because I told you wait to the end. So, wait to the end. Yeah, with an accent too. I think meaning the picture. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up now. What is outcome? The result. Yeah, we're not valuing the results. What happens? Yeah, so using land is the land is causing degradation, and the outcome, this outcome is the result of selling meat cheaply. Yeah, it causes degradation. Okay, degradation comes from degeneration. If something degenerates, it gets worse and worse on its own. Outcome, result, absolutely. Whereas degradation, yeah, it has the idea of doing something very negative to it. Okay, enough for today. Thank you all very much. Though and although, I think they're just about the same. He did this, though it was bad. He did this, although it was bad. Aditya, I think they're the same. Upshot. Outcome, that's very good. I like that. Upshot, result. Outcome, result. Upshot. I love it, Vitali. Outcome is what happens. Output is what is produced. Yeah, the outcome talks about a situation. Left or right? No, you didn't. You're just here in the last minute. If something degrades, it breaks down. Valorize and value. I wouldn't say use valorize. I would just use the value, to value something. So thank you all very much. Yes, the bees are still alive, left or right. Paying confused me. Not paying money. No, to pay. We are paying for. We are suffering from. He went out last night and got very drunk, and he's now paying for it. So thank you all for coming. It's been wonderful to have you. Thank you so much. Hello, Vinay. So I'm going to cut now. So take care. We'll be back same time next week, same channel, inshallah. And stay safe. Thank you all for coming. You've been a brilliant group. It's been a pleasure to have you, Vitaly. Thank you for coming. Okay, so Sundays mark the end of the week and a great day to prepare for the next with a fresh start. Here's a statement from Canada's account on Twitter. Here's your question. And a great day with a fresh start. Okay, so the trivia question I had at the beginning. The country where I get most views from is from India. India accounts for 20% of all the views on my channel, so I would like to thank you all very much. Second is the United States, third is Canada, fourth is the UK, and fifth is Pakistan. That's quite amazing. Hey Ronan, great to see you, just in time. Thanks for coming, Aduma. The noun is Sundays and it's plural. Why did they say Sundays are a great day? Because a means one day. Because let's see, Mondays are a day of the week. Sundays are a day of the week. Yeah? So as in one of the days. Yeah, a great day. Sundays are a day when you relax, and that's the idea, AD Candy. Yeah, so you relax on Sundays. Sundays are an interesting day. So Sundays, plural, are an interesting type of day. Okay, 4 at starting sentences. So thank you all very much. Lalski from Spain. Me too. Okay, I will see you all later. I'm going to leave the chat on if you want to talk. So thank you all for coming. You've been a great